Have you been putting up with abdominal bloating, also pain, discomfort, getting tired after you eat? These are early warning signs of a condition where your stomach is not processing food as quickly as it should. Some of the other symptoms are you get full very quickly after just a few bites. You might feel nauseous after eating. You can suffer from belching, burping, and or reflux. Also, you can have a loss of appetite because you just feel full all the time. You feel like, kind of like, you're full even though you haven't eaten that much. Your food can feel like it's just sitting there. People describe it like there's just a brick sitting in my stomach. So these are all the various symptoms that people talk about. But what does it mean? When your stomach is not processing food the way that it should, a lot of other effects occur. One is, of course, that you're not absorbing your nutrients. So you're not absorbing important vitamins like vitamin B12, also minerals like magnesium, calcium, zinc, and this can lead to issues with bone health, kidney health, even dementia, because you're not absorbing nutrients the way that you should. And then there's the fact that because that pressure of the stomach, food is just sitting there and it's not moving, because it takes about 2 to 4 hours for your stomach to empty, but the food comes in and then it churns around, and you have that sensation that things are digesting and moving versus, oh, I swallowed a brick, it's just sitting there. And that's what we don't want. And again, early signs of this syndrome condition called gastroparesis. So we're not absorbing food the way that we should, but the other problem is that pressure of the food just sitting there, what it does is it causes pressure on the valve that leads into the stomach, so the pressure up can create acid reflux or even regurgitation of food. Sometimes people bend over and they can regurgitate food or regurgitate acid because there's so much pressure on that valve that shouldn't be there, basically. The other problem is that bad bacteria can multiply because the food is, again, just sitting there. It's not getting digested and broken down, and it putrefies. So it goes bad basically in your stomach and allows the bad organisms that were in the food microscopically, now they happily procreate, and this leads to inflammation. So what's key here is to figure out if you have this, why is it occurring? Why is this slowing down of your stomach happening? And there's about 5 to 7 different reasons, and you won't have all of them. It could be 1, it could be 2 to 3, but you need somebody who's going to is comfortable assessing this, because unfortunately in the traditional medicine world, there's no cure. It's just about managing symptoms, and the only drug that's approved by the FDA, unfortunately, can very quickly cause a hideous condition where you lose control of the facial muscles in your face and your tongue and your mouth, and it's a horrible condition. It's called tardive dyskinesia, but that's what it means. You've lost control of your facial muscles, your tongue, your mouth, and so you can't really speak, and the face goes into odd contortions. So definitely something we want to avoid there. Again, that's why we want to jump on it early. So the vagus nerve can be involved, which is your longest cranial nerve, and there's natural treatments for that. Also, food sensitivities. I mean, what's going into your stomach is food. The most common food sensitivities are dairy and gluten. They're certainly not the only ones, but you want to be evaluated for those. Then there's the imbalance of the gut bacteria. You've got 60 to 100 bacteria in your colon, and if those are imbalanced and you have more bad guys than good guys, that's affecting your whole gut profile, and that can slow things down in the stomach as well. There's something called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So the bacteria should be in your lower colon, your large intestine, but small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. That means that these bacteria are not moving through, right, as we said they should from the stomach. And so when the contents leave your stomach, it goes to the small intestine. But if everything's moving so slowly, then those organisms can really hang out too long, and they can multiply and give you a lot of gas, a lot of bloat, and then you get that increased pressure in your abdomen, and that's why everything feels so uncomfortable, and you get so much bloat. The SIBO can do that as well. And so also just having toxins like mold or heavy metals, so various toxins can be tested for to see if that's really inflaming your gut. So you can come at it from a few different directions, and it's all about what's pertinent for you. And most of these may not be, but then you have a key item that's causing this. And digestion really begins in the stomach. I mean, it's supposed to begin in the mouth. We chew food and we swallow, but when it gets to the stomach, it's really churning that food around. As I mentioned, the acid in the stomach is, of course, supposed to kill all the bad guys, and then also the acid breaks down your food so you can absorb those key minerals that I mentioned earlier, and the vitamin B12. So it's all a process that starts at the top and works its way down. And if the stomach is not moving and digesting the way it should, then good digestion is really impossible the rest of the way down. That's why it's very important to spot these symptoms early. Don't put up with them. It's often misdiagnosed as acid reflux, and just you're given an antacid, which is actually the worst thing in the world, because you need acid in order to digest your food and break down what you have eaten. And so an antacid is just going to push you in the wrong direction. So I'll have all the list of the symptoms in the description of this video. See if that describes you. If it does, you want to find a clinician who's savvy about this, really understands it naturally, and jump on it right away. Because as I said, there's no cure once it's gotten to a certain point. It's just managing symptoms, and it's a pretty miserable condition if it gets to that point. So we do want to jump on it early. Okay, I hope you found this informative. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're trying to increase our subscribers so more people can get exposed to this information, and they can be in charge of their health and know what their healthcare options are. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and please comment. I answer all my comments. I love to hear from you, and we'll talk soon.